We had done in the previous topics that because of nitrogen fixation, atmospheric nitrogen is converted to ammonia. It could be inorganic fixation or it could be biological fixation. The biological fixation of nitrogen to ammonia with the help of the enzyme nitrogenase is what we did in the previous video. So, atmospheric nitrogen is being converted into ammonia. What are we getting at the end of the fixation process? It is ammonia. Now we need to find out what happens to ammonia or what is the fate of ammonia. So this is how or where we are going to start from. Yesterday we ended up fixing atmospheric nitrogen being converted into ammonia. Both inorganic way, if you remember, by ultraviolet radiations and by biological fixation by the enzyme nitrogenase. However, what happens to that ammonia is what we are going to do in this video. So this is fate of ammonia. If we talk about the physiological pH, at what pH? Physiological pH, that is the normal human pH around 7.4. So, if the value of the pH is around 7.4, then ammonia, it is converted to proteinated to form ammonium ion. Simple to remember, at normal pH of 7.4, ammonia gets converted to ammonium ion, that is NH4 positive. You know ammonium ion is NH4. So, what is the first sentence we all need to know? The ammonia which was formed by nitrogen fixation is now converted into ammonium ion at physiological pH, that is at a pH value around 7.4. Most of the plants, they can assimilate this nitrogen as well as the ammonium ions. Most of the plants have the capacity, they can assimilate, they can utilize both nitrogen as well as ammonium ions. But there is a problem. The problem is that ammonium ions are very toxic to plants. Though plants have the capacity, they can assimilate, they can utilize both nitrogen as well as ammonium. But the problem lies in the fact that ammonium ions are very toxic to plants. That is why the plants cannot accumulate ammonium ions in them. So, we need to find out what happens to ammonium ions. Atmospheric nitrogen fixation converted nitrogen to ammonia. Ammonia got proteinated to ammonium. Now we need to find out what happens to ammonium. These ammonium ions are used to synthesize amino acids in plants. So where are these ammonium ions being used? They are used to synthesize amino acids in plants. How amino acids are being synthesized in plants? There are two ways in which it is done. Number one, the first method is what we call as reductive amination. Reductive amination, and second is transamination. Which is the first method? That is reductive amination. What happens in this? Ammonia, it reacts with alpha glutaric acid. Remember, it's an organic acid. So, what happens to ammonium ions here? They react with alpha ketoglutaric acid and they form glutamate, or you can simply say they form glutamic acid. Look at the equation written on the board. It is written alpha ketoglutaric acid. This is an organic acid plus ammonium ions in the presence of NADPH. And we also have the enzyme. The name of the enzyme is glutamate dehydrogenase. Remember the name of the enzyme? It is glutamate dehydrogenase. So, ammonium ions, they reacted with alpha ketoglutaric acid and NADPH in the presence of the enzyme glutamate dehydrogenase and converted it into glutamate, or you can simply say glutamic acid. Glutamate is glutamic acid plus a mineral ion added to it. If you find glutamate difficult, you can simply write glutamic acid. So glutamic acid and another mineral ion added to it is what we call as glutamate. And of course what you get is hydrogen and NADP. You can very simply see that on the left hand side we had NADPH and on the right side we are having NADP. So there is a loss of hydrogen. This is, reduction is taking place, reductive amination. What is this process called as? Reductive amination. In this, the ammonium ions, they react with alpha ketoglutamic acid and of course in the presence of NADPH, and the name of the enzyme was glutamate dehydrogenase. What did we get on the right hand side? We got water, we got NADP and we got glutamate. Glutamate, glutamic acid plus a mineral ion, or you can simply write it as glutamic acid. The second method, how these amino acids are used to, ammonium ions are used to synthesize amino acids is transamination method. Trans, that means there is a transfer. So we are going to focus on this part, that what is being transferred, from where it is being transferred to what it is being transferred. The second method, the heading itself tells you, it is transamination. In this, there is a transfer of amino group from one amino acid to the keto group of a keto acid. So what is happening in this? There is a transfer of which group? There is a transfer of amino group. And this amino group is being transferred from one amino acid and it is being transferred to the keto group of a keto acid. So the glutamic acid is the main amino acid for which the transfer of amino groups takes place. Normally we have many amino acids, but mainly glutamic acid is the main amino acid from which transfer of amino groups generally takes place and other amino acids are formed. Obviously this change leads to the formation of different kinds of amino acids. So mainly which amino acid? It is glutamic acid. It is glutamic acid which is the main amino acid from which the transfer of amino group will take place and other amino acids will be formed. This process in which what is happening? The amino group is being transferred from one amino acid to the keto group of another keto acid is what we call as a transamination. We have an enzyme which plays a very active role in this reaction. The name of the enzyme is transaminase. This is a enzyme which is going to catalyze this reaction, transaminase. If you can see on the board, we have this. We have what? We have an amino acid, we have a ketone group. So there is going to be a transfer. There is going to be a transfer of what group? Amino group. Amino group will be transferred. If you see on the board, the first compound here, the one which has R1 group has amino over here. And then you see that side, on the right hand side, the NH3 group is now attached to the R2 compound. Here we had the NH3, that means the amino group was present here with the compound which contained the R1 alkyl group. On the right hand side, if you see, NH3 has shifted its position and it has shifted and being attached itself to which group? The R2 one. The R2 one, if you see on the left hand side, was the keto group. If you can see C double bond O, this is the ketone group. And here we had COH, this is your carboxylic acid group. So this is your amino acid, this one. Second is your keto acid. You can see very clearly C double bond O ketone, COH, you have an acidic group present over here. This is your keto acid. This is your amino acid, this is your keto acid. So this amino is being, amino group is being transferred from this amino acid to the keto acid. If you can see on the right side very clearly, NH3 was here on the left hand side, it was attached to amino acid. On the right side, it is being attached to the keto acid. This one, the first one, the amino acid is the amino donor. Why it is the amino donor? Because this has given the amino group. On the right hand side, it is very clear that who has taken the amino group? The keto group has taken it. So this would be known as the amino acceptor. The keto acid is the amino acceptor and the amino acid is the amino donor. This is going to donate. We have two important amides also which are found in plants. When we use the word amides, maybe you have not yet done it in class 11th, it is CONH2. CONH2. Basically, they are ammonia derivatives. Whenever one hydrogen of an ammonia is replaced by an acyl group, we get what we call as amides. So what are amides? Remember CONH2. What is simply happening in this? CONH2 very simply tells you NH2. That means one hydrogen atom of ammonia has been replaced. It should have been NH3 and now that H has gone and CO has come in its turn. So this is how amides are formed. They are ammonia derivatives where a hydrogen atom is replaced by an acyl group. So two important amides which are found in plants, you just need to remember their names. They are asparagine and glutamine. Asparagine, 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 and the second is glutamine. Both of them are a structural part of the proteins. Why are we studying about these amides? Why are these amides important? These amides are actually derivatives of ammonia. How they were made from ammonia? One hydrogen atom of the ammonia was replaced by an acyl group. Acyl means I am talking about the C double bond O here. And then we get what we call as amides. Two very important amides found in plants, asparagine and glutamine. And both of them, why they are so significant, why they are so important? Because they are the structural part of the plant proteins. They are formed from two amino acids. These, asparagine and glutamine. These both the amides, they are being formed from two acids, aspartic acid and glutamic acid respectively. That means asparagine is being formed from aspartic acid and glutamine is being formed from glutamic acid. How is it formed? It is formed by the addition of another amino group to each other. Now what adds on to these acids is another amino group. So when another amino group adds on to aspartic acid and glutamic acid, you get these amides which are what we call as asparagine and glutamine. The hydroxyl part of the acid is replaced by another amino group or amino radical. So this is how it happens. We had the acids, which acid? Aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Now the hydroxyl part of these acids will be replaced by the NH2 radical, that is the amino. So amides will be formed. Amides which have more nitrogen than amino acids, they are transported to other parts of the plant through xylem vessels. However, there are some amides which have more amount of nitrogen than amino acids. Amino acids are less, but what is more is nitrogen. In such a case, these kind of amides, they are transported through xylem vessels. So this is all about fate of ammonia. We said two things happen to ammonia. Ammonia is being first proteinated to form ammoniamides, and then what is happening to ammoniamides? They used to synthesize amino acids in plants by two methods, reductive amination and second was transamination. In reductive amination, ammonia reacts with alpha glutaric acid, this is an organic acid, and it forms glutamate, that is glutamic acid plus aminolime, alpha ketoglutaric acid plus ammoniamine plus NADPH. Always remember the name of the enzyme, it is glutamate dehydrogenase. Similarly, in transamination, there was a transfer of amino group from one amino acid to keto group of a keto acid. Remember that glutamic acid is the main amino acid from which the transfer of amino group takes place and different kinds of amino acids are formed. Here also we need to remember the name of the enzyme, it is transaminase. Then we read about two important amides, asparagine and glutamine, formed from two acids, aspartic acid and glutamic acid, by oxidation of another amino group to each other. How were they formed? We just discussed that the hydroxyl part of these acids was replaced by another amino radical. Once again, what are amides? They are ammonia derivatives where hydrogen is being replaced by the acyl group. And two very important amides for plants, asparagine and glutamine. That is all about fate of ammonia, and this is all in the topic.